All right, good afternoon to you. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade, and once again, we are tracking the tropics. I'm walking you through it, letting you know what you can expect, not just for the next few days, but for the next week or so. Right now, we have nothing that is threatening us in the next 24 hours, but we do have multiple systems out there that in the future could possibly bring us some impact. So a lot to talk about. Of course, we are closely monitoring things out there, and we will keep you updated with the latest as far as what those models are showing. Of course, so far for this hurricane season so far, we've had one named storm that did intensify to a tropical storm, and that was Alberto. Of course, next on the list, we've got Beryl, then Chris, then Debbie, Ernesto, Francine, and all the way down to Gordon. Last name on this list, William. We are all hoping we don't get through this entire list. That would mean a super busy season, but of course the projections are for a busy season. So we'll have to wait and see and watch what happens. Of course, we're a few days away from the month of July. We're almost 1 month in to our 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. And here are some of the areas that we look for possibly higher formation of these tropical systems, and that would be parts of the Gulf of Mexico over into the western Atlantic. You can see the east coast of the U.S., especially that Carolina coast. There's a higher chance for these tropical systems developing, and of course down around the Caribbean Sea. Of course, we can get a tropical system developed outside of these areas, but usually during the month of July, we usually have a higher shot to see development in these spots. So of course, we're really watching the Gulf of Mexico, the Western Atlantic, and the Caribbean. Speaking of the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean, those water temps are super toasty out there into the 80s for much of this area. Low to middle 80s showing up for those sea surface temps in the Gulf. So steamy water, kind of like bath water. And of course, this acts as fuel for those potential tropical systems to develop. Northwest Caribbean also looking pretty steamy with those water temps into the 80s as well. So we've got the fuel if these systems try to get going, but here's one good thing. Of course, this time of the year, we normally have a decent amount of that Saharan dust coming off of that African coast and tracking west. So notice our Saharan dust tracker showing that we do have a decent amount of that dust across much of the Atlantic, moderate to dense Saharan dust. And notice as we go into the future, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, that Saharan dust actually starts to push more into the Caribbean and the Gulf, and even right over us here in Southeast Texas for the Houston area. So don't be surprised to see the sky starting to get a bit hazy, a little smoky, hazy for the next few days and into early next week. We are going to have that dust plume likely moving in, but that dust also acts to limit tropical development. So we're not going to totally erase any potential for a tropical depression or a tropical storm, but it just makes it a little bit harder for these systems to form in that type of environment. However, it's not impossible, and we do still have the potential for two systems to turn into tropical depressions or tropical storms in the next 2 to 7 days. So let's talk about it. This is our satellite, our tropical satellite, and you can see a lot of action right here. Not that organized right now, but this is a tropical disturbance now pushing into the northwestern Caribbean, and this is Invest 94L. What does Invest means? It basically means it's an area that the National Hurricane Center is investigating for possible tropical cyclone development. Usually when they name it an Invest, they start to fly the hurricane hunters in to see if there is that closed center of circulation that is getting more organized and that could possibly become a tropical storm or a tropical depression. So right now it's just a disturbance or a tropical wave. It is getting close to the Yucatan Peninsula, and here's the good news with this system. There's only a low chance it's going to develop into a tropical depression or tropical storm. 10% low shot next 2 days and only a 30% chance for the next 7 days. The reason, even though the water is warm here into the 80s, it's actually going to push over land over the Yucatan Peninsula over the next few days, and it's only going to stay in the southern Gulf of Mexico likely for a limited period of time before it pushes into that eastern Mexican coast. So it's not really going to have a lot of time over that very warm water to really strengthen, get its act together, and really blow up on us. So I don't think we're going to have to worry too much about Invest 94L. Here is our futurecast showing what this system is going to do. Notice it getting close to the Yucatan Peninsula, likely right over the Yucatan Peninsula by Saturday morning. Then as we go into Sunday and Monday, pushing into the southern Gulf of Mexico, still not really looking that organized, but it's only going to spend a short amount of time in the southern Gulf before likely slamming into eastern Mexico. So I think this system stays to our south. I don't really think there's going to be enough time for it to get organized. And ultimately, I don't think we're going to have to worry too much about that one. So that is certainly some good news. All right, we do have other issues though as we expand the view and look farther out into the tropics, the Atlantic. We've got some action here. This is the East Central Atlantic, and this is Invest 95L. This one has been getting more organized through the day, and now over the next 7 days, there is a high chance for tropical cyclone development with this system. So over the next 2 days, a medium 60% chance. Over the next 7 days, a high 80% chance that this thing could start to wind up, get stronger, and become our next tropical storm. The name would be Beryl. So this is definitely something we're watching closely. It's still several days out from any potential impacts to us here in Southeast Texas, but certainly something that is causing a little concern because it is in the red. That means we will likely have a tropical depression or tropical storm pretty soon. I want to show you what we are expecting to happen with this according to our exclusive Fox model, and you will see the swirl starting to wind up with that area of low pressure with Invest 95L as we go into the weekend, Saturday, Sunday especially. Notice this counterclockwise swirl here. This is likely Invest 95L becoming a tropical depression and possibly a tropical storm as it gets close to the Lesser Antilles and close to the Eastern Caribbean. So like I said, it's still several days out, a little more than a week out before it could possibly impact us here in Southeast Texas, but it is something that we are monitoring closely because there is now a likelihood that it will become a tropical depression or tropical storm. Speaking of storms and named storms, of course, the forecast from Colorado State University from NOAA for this season calling for an above average number of named storms, hurricanes, and major hurricanes. From CSU, 23 named storms, 11 hurricanes, out of those 5 becoming major hurricanes. Above average numbers for the NOAA forecast as well, and both of these are well above our average of 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. So it's going to be a long season. We've just gotten through almost the first month, and this is typically a quiet part of the season. So don't let your guard down. Even though we don't have anything heading our way right now, that could quickly change. So you need to make sure you have your hurricane kit ready to go, know your evacuation route to make sure that you are ready to put everything into action just in case we do get one of these systems heading our way. Of course, the chance increases as we get farther into hurricane season, especially August, September, and October. Those are the months that we really watch closely because we expect that activity to increase and ramp up. As far as the tropics, that is about it. Nothing heading our way now.